isn't the issue. It's more so taking the threes. And that was just a really quick, trigger there. You'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Good to see Dean Wade back.
Yes. Mitchell, but just to finish the point, 37 points is his high this year. That was back in November. I feel like we're due for like a Mitchell 40 piece.
Was that a Lakers game?
It was a Bulls game. His two highest scoring games on the year are against the Bulls.
Well, that
and then
that kind of makes sense.
And then Boston in a loss in November. Boston again in the win on December 1st. Had 30 in the 19.1 against the Wizards, 30 against Milwaukee, 30 against Atlanta, 30 against the Pelicans, and 30 against Atlanta, and then 29 against the Pelicans. Those are his highs in the year. He hasn't had anything above 37, and I feel like we're due for like a Mitchell 40-point run, maybe in the Intuit Dome in front of maybe that's the place.
Yeah, in front of 10 fans.
And wow. The wall. Yeah, I mean the wall is really I do quite like the wall. I think that's cool, even if it's it's random that it's there in that arena. But
yeah, I mean I feel like you would name at least 23 other teams that would be more wall worthy than the Clippers. So I think that's kind of where the problem is. If OKC said, "Hey, we're doing the wall," we'd be like, "This is the coolest thing ever." But yeah, so on the Mitchell point, I really like that he's come out aggressive. I remember LeBron used to always say, home games, I come out, try to get everybody else involved. Road games, I try to, set the tone, with my own scoring. And the Cavs they've had much more. I believe they've had 18 home games, or maybe not 18, but it's 17 home games. They've had more home games than they've had away games so far. And they haven't had any of these real Western Conference away games.
Yeah.
The Western Conference away games are the Pelicans, which is not a Western Conference team.
They're absolutely one of the teams that when the expansion happens, they're going to be like, "Could you please send us to the East?"
Yeah, and hopefully it's them and not Memphis. But yeah, so you haven't needed to have Mitchell set the tone for you in that way very often. So this would be a game that you'd like to see that. And every game for the Cavs is worth watching just to see how Evan Mobley continues to develop. So that's, I remember, was it his second season? He had a really good game against the Nuggets. He scored 30 something points, one of the most aggressive games that he's ever had. So, you like to see him be on the court with the best NBA player at his position, and just kind of see how he stacks up.
To me for a while, I thought he's been the best player on the Cavs this year, and I know that's probably a little bit of a take. It's probably just still Mitchell, but I just think Evan Mobley's been sublime this year. I've just been blown away the whole way we've seen him.
Yeah, he has been. I would disagree with that because I think that it's easy to jump to the next take because you see it happening. You know what I mean? It's easy to say Wemby is a top 5 player, even though he's not a top 5 player, but you can see that he will be a top 5 player soon. That take is always easier to jump to. Where I think it's easy to overlook if this team didn't have Donovan Mitchell, I don't know if they ever get a real shot off.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's valid. It's just the leveling up that I feel has happened, and I saw this thing going. There's a story that was pointing out that they've been able to sustain really high defense with Allen off the floor this year, and that's a case for him. That was the case before this. That was the case last year, and
I think it was the case. I think it was the case last year. It wasn't the. Before
it was
it wasn't the case because his rebounding was so bad. They would just
but it was
murdered.
But it was at least in terms of defensive rating. I think I might be wrong, but I think it was pretty decent. It was rookie year. It was definitely the Jared Allen support was really good.
Well, there was one year where they were just hitting 1,000,000 threes against whenever he was on the floor.
Yeah, and that which is just variable. You can't really do anything about that. But it's I think he's past the point where I think he's just one of the best two-way best defensive bigs in the league and on his way to being a very, very functional, very good two-way player. And I think we've kind of been on that journey longer than people realize. I think it was more the case than people maybe thought last year. And I know last year was kind of weird and a lot was going on, but I think like with Atkinson, with like him just being another year, I do really think like this, like that is just fundamentally part of the Evan Mobley story now, you know?
I agree. 1 second, real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely do agree with everything that you're saying, actually. I mean,
Wow.
Well, I mean, you can't disagree with what you're seeing from Evan Mobley.
Mm-mm.
Like, he's really good. Kenny Atkinson kind of came in, made it a priority, like, hey, we're gonna push Evan Mobley. I think Donovan has been instrumental in that, how he's like seeded touches. He's kind of been really, I feel like, really pushing him out of his comfort zone in a way that, maybe not all superstars in Donovan Mitchell's position do to a younger player who is going to, take their place as the best player on the team. So I think he deserves some credit for that as well. But I do want to say one thing really quickly here. What's up, Cleveland Cavaliers? We appreciate you in the chat, and we appreciate everybody else in the chat. The last 3 comments in the chat have been about Dean Wade. So, let's talk about Dean Wade a little bit. Like, it's good to have Dean Wade back. Demo6 says confident sharpshooter Dean is a top 5 NBA role player. Maybe, but I do love Dean Wade. Like, he can do
That's
because it's bold. Like, what is a role player? Anyways,
but top five is just like what? Like that's probably a bit. Like top 5 role player gets you in the discussion of like as a fringe all-star on like in a bad year,
But like Dean Wade is, I think, like hands down the second best defender on this team, and he's probably closer. I think.
You think he's better than Allen? Is what you're saying?
I think he's considerably better than Allen. I think he's like, this may be, and I'm probably overrating this. So I think you
are, because I think you're overrating rim protection as just like the most important.
Yeah, but Dean Wade does that.
I know, but Allen's like been historically like a very, very high end rim protector, and even if I don't think this has been his best year, I do think he is still like that. That is kind of the one thing
that's
you
a
watch.
Tough shot.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous shot to take.
Yeah, dude. That's like the MPJ thing. It's just like that's like the thing with them is like oh shit, DG. I love that shot from DG though, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, I don't know if I'd have him. I don't know if I'd have him second.
He's so good, man.
He's good. It's like
the way I think what he does best. So like great steal by Jared Allen.
Yeah, like entirely like he put himself in the blender, and I don't understand why he didn't just like go up and dunk right away. But nice steal from Jared as well.
Yeah.
Oh, Jared.
Are you behind?
I'm probably like 5 seconds behind you. Because
are you not watching on the stream?
It's not showing up for me on the stream.
Oh, hold on.
It is
that
unavailable.
Explains so much. I think it is unavailable. Hold on. I'm sorry. You should have.
It's okay.
Should have said something. I got you.
Oh, I just assumed that I was shadow banning, and I don't like asking for things. So
there you go. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I am such a bad host. Sorry, everybody, because I was like, oh yeah, that was a great play by Jarrett, and then you're like, yeah, he should have just gone up. I was like, what are you talking about, Chris?
I was talking about when he put himself in the
right,
spin, when in like just a dizzy zone. I'm like, sir, what are you doing?
Yeah. See, Tony, Tony does some things better. I do some things better than Tony.
Tony's ducking me, so I'm Team Jackson.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm not sure Tony's real.
Tony is doing better, by the way. He is still sick. I explained it earlier that he's like, when they used to have the COVID protocols, his like he's returned to the team. He's like practicing again, but he's still, he's still getting his voice back. It's like he's returning to conditioning. Yeah, and Tony's Wallsville. Chris, you probably don't get that reference. Tony would have to like change. I said would as if like he's gone and never coming back, but Tony would have to always change his like headphones 3 times. For some reason, he doesn't know how to charge headphones. So every time he would have to change headphones, he'd leave for like 25 seconds and we'd just see his wall. So, and that was always Dan's favorite part of the evening. So,
okay, valid.
The wall may still be there. The wall was never sick. The real wall, not the fake thing that they have at the Intuit Dome. But yeah, so you should be able to see the stream now. That's all I was saying. But my Dean Wade point before we got sidetracked with how bad of a host I am. I think what gives Dean Wade the advantage is his versatility. And I think he's such a good team defender. Like if you like just watch him off ball, he's like always his anticipation on that end and like his feel for the defensive side of the court is just like a step above everybody else. Sure. Like he knows who he's covering. He knows who he needs to help onto. He knows where he can recover to. Like he does all those things at like a level that really is above everybody else, especially since he's not somebody who has like, like a Wemby or a Evan Mobley. They're also great defenders and have great defensive IQ, but like they're also like they take one step and they're, on the other side of the court. Like Dean Wade can't do that. So he always has to like anticipate. And I think that's like really crazy how well he does.
Basketball is so funny in that way that it's like he's by every other metric, he's like well above average in terms of height.
Yeah.
And in the NBA, it's like, oh, you're just like you're kind of big.
Well, he's bigger than you think. He's 6'9.5".
I know.
Atkinson brings it up. Literally, he brings it up unprompted anytime someone talks about Dean Wade. You're like, well, he's so versatile. He's 6'9.5". Which, who else is 6'9.5"? Bam Adebayo. But for some reason, Dean looks shorter than those people.
Yeah, white guy. I think it's like a white guy thing.
I saw him. If you see him stand next to Jared Allen, he's like the same size.
Huh. Okay. I don't feel like
yeah,
that was nice. I like the
thought process.
I don't like that shot at all.
I like that he didn't run inside and try to
see. I rather would have had him. I would prefer I just prefer like pressure on the basket over like a contested 3.
Dean, I was just talking about how good of a defender you were, and you gave Jokic that really easy spin.
Here's the thing, though. Jokic does that on everybody. It just doesn't matter,
But that was easier than most, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I take it all back with the Karras shot. Oh, that was.
Yeah, he's got to make that.
Yeah.
Was that not? That was close to a double. That was
like a double dribble.
Yeah, that felt like a double dribble to me, like spiritually.
Yeah.
See, like Jared did that was really nice by Jared.
Just that was really nice.
Yeah, like the footwork, the with not getting handsy. That was really nice.
Great.
That was really, really nice.
That was a great take from Darius. I think we've always said in the past that like him not being able to get to the line as much is kind of that was definitely a double dribble. And he kind of traveled too. Like he was dragging his left foot. So could have called a lot of things. But one of the things I liked about Darius from that take is that he kind of, once he saw he had an advantage, he just kind of like pressed through it in a way that, he hasn't always in the past. So that was just a really good take that we saw from Darius there.
He's sneaky good at those little like subtle dip the shoulder like lean kind of drives. He's sneaky good at that specific kind of drive, which is like for a smaller guard. That's your lifeblood. Like that is one of the things that makes it easier for you to score. Like you kind of have to do that stuff,
right? Because you can't. You have to get to the line and stuff like that, or it's just really tough to be an efficient scorer at like 6'1".
Mm-hmm. Swing. That's a good shot.
Yeah.
Just like I'm one of the things I've been like thinking about Jackson, like broader than the Cavs, with just like all the discourse about like the NBA and its watchability right now. As much as like I have some like feelings about like the 3-point shooting and stuff,
right?
It is just like remarkable at like how many like tough shot, like the shot making quality at times just feels like so absurdly good that I kind of understand why teams are playing this way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's I think that last 3 that the Nuggets made,
the Watson one.
Yeah, the Cavs had great defense. Mobley on Jokic, the help was there, the help recovered back to Watson, but it's just like there's no defense for a good shot. And it's like, I think if you're just casually watching, it's easy to just see like, oh, he just passed it out to that guy and he hit a shot, and that's kind of all that the NBA is. But it's like if you just look a little closer, you can see all like the great rotations and stuff. I don't think defense has never been better than it is right now. And I think that's something that probably should get talked about more, is just how next level the defensive play is. It's just that the offense is also next level, and there's nothing you can really do about it. And then I do think that, one of the things that I think is frustrating is that some of those really easy things, like if they cleaned up some of like the double dribbling and carrying and some of those like ticky-tack contact fouls, I think you would be able to see that defense shine through it just a little bit more. And I think that's where, some of that frustration that I would say like your uncle has with the NBA, that is, you're like, well, not really, but also like, I get it. What a pass from Mobley. Nice cut from Strus. That's what you want to see. Like we talked about last year. I know we talked about a lot about like Max Strus is like the only guy on the court that like actually knows how to play basketball when he does and doesn't have the ball. So now you put him in an offense that emphasizes those skill sets more. You can see that. Yeah. His defender completely lost him, trying to keep an eye on Mobley, thinking that Strus was in the corner, and he just ducked down really nicely. Nice finish with the reverse, which, in high school, that's like the toughest play you can make.
What was your Taco Bell order, Jackson?
So chalupa, cheesy bean and rice burrito, those are good. And then a double-decker taco. It was great. It was a great, we just came off of a Frontier flight.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm tired of everything meal.
Yeah, getting off any flight, honestly, like when you come off a flight, and I wonder if this is the case with NBA players, like when this happens, they get to a city at like 2 a.m. Your desire just to eat like the shittiest thing possible is just never higher than when you're off. You're just like,
true.
Like you've been on a flight for 2.5 hours in a claustrophobic space, and all you want is just like, you're just like, I need calories, and I want it to be the most disgusting thing I can get my hands on. That is just always how I feel. Always how I feel.
Yeah, I think, there needs to be a deeper discussion about whether or not NBA players actually eat healthy, because I think that's certainly a no.
I think they do in like spurts, but I definitely am like, there have to be points where like you get to a city at 3 a.m. and you're just like not. I mean, I guess the athlete we know the most about their diet is like Chad Ochocinco. And it's like, if you told me there was like 10 NBA players who eat the McDonald's diet like Chad Ochocinco, I'd believe it.
I mean, just like there's so much Chipotle consumption in the NBA. And
look, I had a double steak Chipotle bowl this evening, and it was actually pretty good.
Listen, we'll agree to disagree on the state of Chipotle food.
I'm not. This is the first time in a while. This is the first time in a while it was good. I will say,
very
like
good.
if they
Donovan.
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice. If they had Kava in Ohio, I'd be like, that'd be the move. Kava's great, but
how's it going? Yeah, we had a good holiday. How was your holiday?
the Jokic spin back into the middle is just like outrageous. Like to contest him after that is like you have to be really freaking good to be able to like balance the footwork and like maintain that.
Yeah, it's
absurd.
He's insane. I mean, I know that it's like very easy to just say, "Oh yeah, he's like such the best passer."
Would he be your MVP right now? If you had
Yes.
okay.
Yes, I
agree.
My quarter season MVP listing was him, SGA, Giannis, Luka, and then Tatum. Yeah. Oh, yes, we do.
God damn, Donovan. 13 for Donovan. That's good. Pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah. One of the things that I will say is that the Cavs have scored 37 points this quarter and counting, which honestly not that rare. I don't know if the Nuggets can like Donovan, just insane.
16 in the quarter. I say what smart things every once in a while, and me wondering, is this the night you get a 40+ Donovan game? Feeling good.
Is this the night you get a 40-point half?
I mean, he's gonna sit for a while in the second, so probably not.
But yeah, can the Nuggets honestly keep up scoring with the Cavs? Doesn't seem like something that I would bet on the Nuggets doing.
Yeah, I guess this is the thing with Denver, right? It's like I don't remember who did this in the chat, but you just got to slow them down, and like that's like theoretically true, but it's also just like you get them in half court, and they have Nikola Jokic, who is like the half court like jigsaw puzzle master. Like he's an absolute wizard. It's like he's gonna get shots. Like so, offensive wise, Cavs are first in offense right now. This is cleaning the glass. 122.8 per 100 possessions. That is 9 points per 100 possessions above league average. That's absurd. Denver is at 6 at 117.5, so it's like 4 points above league average. Still very, very good. Cavs are just like a tier above with like New York and Boston right now.
One of the things that I think the Cavs did really well in their first matchup with the Nuggets, which they ended up running away with, especially in the second half, is they were able to kind of guard Jokic. I mean, they were able to play him more straight up than most teams do, just with their ability to like switch 3 through 5 with Jokic screens, and also like they didn't have to help the same way that if they're playing, you know, a Western Conference team, like if they're playing the Warriors, you can't just let, you know, Jokic cook your center. You have to keep sending help. You can't just leave Kuminga on an island with him. So that's where it's like I think the Cavs have a bit of an advantage there, and we saw that play through where like Denver's role players weren't able to consistently like make them pay, and you kind of force Jokic to do everything on his own. This game, Jokic is playing well, he's scoring well, but I think the role players are just hitting some really tough shots, honestly.
Yes.
And it's like, I don't think they're going to keep hitting really tough shots, because if this was the team that they were, and obviously one night, you know, anybody can get hot for one night, but this isn't the team that they are. The role players aren't that good. It's just when you give them open shots because the defense is constantly in rotation, they can, you know, produce a really good offense, and with Jokic. So
yeah, Jokic in himself is just, it's just like, sure, buddy. Like he's just going to do some stuff and you're like, yep, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, he's the best player in the NBA, and it's not particularly close. But I think the Cavs are I don't think they are better situated to handle him than anybody else in the league, maybe, you know, with especially with Wade out there. You know, that's a really, really tough front court.
Yes.
I talked to you know, I was at the NBA Cup in Las Vegas. Oh,
Mobley.
Oh, that was sick. Running a play for Mobley to come off a screen and hit a 3. I like that, Kenny. But one of the things that I went to Vegas Giannis absolutely carved up the Thunder's best NBA defense. And then the next day, the Cavs kind of, they had his number, I would say, in that Bucks win. Like after the game, I asked Giannis, he talked about how good he mentioned how good the Cavs defense was. And can you compare and contrast this with the Thunder defense you faced the other day? And he was like, the Cavs defense is so much better, and just talked about how their front court just makes it really tough for him. And I understand his point. I don't think the Cavs have the best defense in the league, but I think that their front line of Wade, Mobley, Allen, depending on your team, is the very best in the league. And I think this is a tough matchup for Denver.
If you're thinking about, I have a group text with some college friends right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're debating one of my buddies, shout out to Alex, asked what the championship confidence is right now, and he's like, I'm at 6 to 10. I feel like 7 to 10 is probably as high as I can get. And then he's like, I put Boston an 8 out of 10. I'm like, I just don't understand the scale. But
I don't understand the scale either, but that's fine.
It's not the point. Ooh. I'm trying to figure this out. But the Cavs are legitimately a contender, and I Denver. I just think they are because of Jokic, but otherwise it's just I don't really know.
I think the Cavs are firmly within the top 3 teams in the league. Celtics, Thunder, Cavs. I think that they are proven to be a step above. And I understand if you want to give the Celtics the benefit of the doubt, but it's the Cavs are so good, man. They are so good. And I think it's easy to I think everyone's brains are wired in a way that we think that you have to have the superstar to win. But that's sort of not how the league is. You don't need a superstar to win. You need it's like a hockey team. You need lines that make sense. And a team that can go deep, and it's that's what you saw with the Celtics last year. And I think the series against the Cavs was an excellent example of that, where it's when Mitchell played those 3 games, it was Mitchell, you have to carry this, and he was able to do it one game, but not able to do it every game. But the Celtics, they were, how many times did Peyton Pritchard hit a back-breaking 3? How many times did Derek White just Derek White, had 6 quick points, or Drew Holiday hit some back-breaking shots. It's you need the star players, but nowadays you need the team and just the depth of talent to actually really, compete for a championship. And I think the Cavs have that.
Yes, I think that's right.
And I think they're more versatile than I think people think. I think that I think they're really versatile. I think the teams that are going to give them the most trouble are the super small switchy teams, which is why I'm super excited to see that they played the Thunder twice and the Rockets twice in January. And I'm really excited to see how the Cavs hold up in both of those matchups. Yeah, drive and kick teams like the Thunder. Any team that plays 5 out has given the Cavs problems in the past.
It is generally a formula that is very hard to guard at a high level. It doesn't matter who you are. You could have Giannis and Mobley on the court together with Jalen Suggs, and it wouldn't matter, because it's just the formulation just creates imbalance and opportunity in a way. It's feel how if you want to about the Celtics, hate on them, think they're corny, whatever. It is
I will, thank you.
Yeah, okay, I knew you're a hater. It's the way they play is strategically done, because it is kind of, if it's working, it is basically hard, and you have good enough players, it is basically impossible to guard that effectively. Ultimately the structure of what they're doing is going to win out in a way that is hard to compete with. It's very it's very baseball team. And Sam, can't wait for Sam Merrill Bank night at the Cleveland Charge game.
I wasn't at the Sam Merrill game. That was the first It was the second Cavs game I missed this year.
Wow, that's tough. That's really tough for you. He was probably in the locker room where's Jackson? Where's the bunch of questions I'm gonna?
Yeah. where's my guy? So I
Yeah.
know. I could have been there. Where does this rank with your 10 3-point game against the Buzz City Swarm? That's a question that no one else in there is going to ask. One of the things that I love about Mobley this year is anytime he has an advantage, he's just like taking it. Like every time he gets somebody smaller, every time he gets in the lane and there's like, some resistance that's not like, like he's not backing down from any of these like these like mismatches. He's just killing them.
Yeah.
That was a long way of saying he just kills mismatches, and I like that.
Yeah, we were. Oh, look at Mitchell. I thought that was going in, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah. Sometimes you start talking and you think that you're going to make a great point, and you don't.
That's like everything I've ever said.
Oh, give yourself more credit than that.
So, thinking about this team a little bit, Jackson, I think this is like a lineup I would really like to like, and to be a parody of myself. I think one of the ways like the drive and kick like smaller, quicker teams, a way you could counteract that with this, if Okoro's healthy, you put him in there instead of Niang, I think you could actually do pretty well.
Yeah.
Like I think you could survive pretty decently with like the guys you have out there if you had Okoro as like your point of attack guy.
One of the things that Kenny has talked about it, Kenny's very honest, and he brings up stuff unprompted a lot. He's brought up using Wade as a center unprompted many times. Nobody says, "Hey, Kenny, you ever think about using Dean Wade as a center?" But he brings it up all the time, and I think like in a matchup against a team like the Rockets or a team like the Thunder, that's where it's like a Dean Wade at center for like 4 minutes in the second quarter, in the fourth quarter. Like those are things that I think that you can do with this team.
Yes.
Obviously, Okoro makes that a lot easier because he's a good defender who can slide up a little bit. The Cavs don't really have Donovan Mitchell can't slide up on defense.
No.
So having Okoro really helps.
Yeah, and Jerome's like aside from some 3-point shooting, I think has really cooled off.
Yeah.
Where like if you don't end up getting him minutes, like I think that's fine.
Yeah,
the freak out over having to find money to pay Ty Jerome was the big early season overreaction, which speaks to how good the early season was going.
He was insane.
It was nuts. It was crazy.
It was. So I made Tony write a story on Fear the Sword about like how they could pay Ty Jerome, and it was like the Cavs can give him like $50 million for X amount of for 4 years. I don't think that's enough, but we'll see. And now it's like, yeah, he's not getting $5 million, but but he was playing so freaking good though. And he was getting like 2 steals a game, which was just like insane.
Yeah.
Right back to this 2-3 zone, which I'm not a fan of. I've never been a fan of the 2-3 zone.
No, give me a 1-3. Give me a 1-3-1 or give me nothing.
Give me that beautiful 3-2 zone that JB Bickerstaff ran for one season and then said, we don't have Lauri Markkanen. There's no point of ever doing this again.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand why the Cavs have Dean Wade, who's like a 10 times better defender than Lauri Markkanen, and they've never tried to use that like once.
Well, yeah, he's not 7 feet tall, so it's like I think that was probably like the simple thing, or like maybe there's probably like some data or something we're not aware of that would tell a story about that.
Whatever data is telling you that the 2-3 zone would ever work with this team, whereas let's not try that 3-2 defense with the most insane, defender in the league being able to switch between like the perimeter and the rim interchangeably. Like,
yeah.
And he was a rookie. That was rookie Evan Mobley doing all that stuff. He's so much better now.
He's so good. He's so fucking good.
I know Sam Merrill is the best. Yeah.
I mean, it's true. I can't wait to get my Sam Merrill bank.
Yeah. That's January 11th. Are we doing promos for the charge now?
No. I was gonna say
no free ads.
No. No. I just Jackson. Next time you're at my apartment, that bank will be prominently displayed.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
I have to make room because I have plastic stuff everywhere.
Yeah, that's look, plastic stuff is the thing. I have like random crap behind me too, you know?
Yeah, not like me. Look at that, Dean Wade. Top 5 role player.
Oof, Sam. Oof.
Hasn't been a top 5 role player for the Cavs this year.
Sam, no.
Tough. Yeah.
No. Rankings would be what? You're going to say, like, okay, so is Jared count as a role guy in this?
No. I'd say anybody outside the core 4.
Okay. So
your core 4.
So yeah, so obviously Allen does count because Okoro is in the core 4 there. No.
I mean, Okoro may be behind Sam, but that's
no way. No way. That's bad.
All right.
Take.
Okay.
Dean Wade's 1.
Karis LeVert. I think Karis LeVert's 1. If you're doing actual rankings, if you're just naming.
Yeah, no, let's do actual rankings.
All right, Karis LeVert. He's 1.
He's been so hot offensively. You're probably right.
His like offensive rating is like 170.
The shot profile just like being like entirely different is one of the weirdest things that has happened this year.
Being able to this team when they have like a second/third ball handler on the court has been insane.
Yeah.
So I would say
yeah.
Him
so
1.
LeVert 2. Or sorry, LeVert 1, Dean Wade 2.
I would honestly, if we're doing whole body of work.
Are you putting Jerome 2?
I would put Jerome 2. Just because his body of work is so like insane.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Wade just because the defensive impact is just higher.
That's
and
fine.
Like I'm gonna weight that a little bit more.
I would have like Wade and Okoro tied.
I would have
because Wade has had some tough stretches. And Okoro has had some like weird stretches too.
Yeah. So the Sauceman brings up an interesting question about LeVert. It's like, does he make it past the trade deadline? I don't
absolutely.
So here's the thing. I don't think they can. I think if they were 10%, like 5% worse, let's say they were like 4th in the East right now or something. I think that kind of trade would be much more possible. I don't think they can like do anything like that, like in a way I thought they might. Now, if you told me they could turn LeVert into like a multi-year signed like guy that fits them, and then just like, all right, for the other ball handler, we're gonna like sign Jerome to like an affordable deal, and like that's the plan, and it makes more sense from a cap perspective. Could totally get behind that. Sam,
there you go, Sam.
There we go.
He needs to do stuff like that, and he hasn't been making no shots this year.
Yeah, he just gotta get him quick trigger looks. Like that's the whole thing. Like if they were a little bit worse, I think that kind of trade would totally be possible. I do not think that kind of trade is there. I also just like don't think Karis LeVert's going to have a market next summer that they can't compete with, because like there's one team with cap space. There's literally no reason for the Brooklyn Nets to sign Karis LeVert. You might be able to get LeVert back for like less than he's making now and trade him in a year if you need to anyway.
Yeah, that's a take foul, guys.
That's an objectively that's
like the worst take foul of all time, because you have one guy firmly back and then two guys.
You had Murray. You had Murray back in a really good position to contest if you swung into the corner, and you had two guys blitzing down the court to like maybe contest the shot.
Yeah,
that was
terrible.
That was a very dumb take foul from DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah,
but, like I just don't think you can like even like a tax, even though like I think like a tax ducking trade like probably has some value. I don't even know how you could like sell it.
Yeah. One of the things that I will say is the issues with the LeVert trade is, even if you traded me, if you just said, which is not going to happen, but if you just did a Cam Johnson for LeVert swap straight up, which wouldn't make any sense, obviously. Sam, don't let Sam get hot. The thing I love about Sam,
Derrick Rose retired. The guy with Derrick Rose in his avatar.
tell him, let him know, Chris.
Like that man is happily retired and has made a lot of money. And seeing him in a Cavs media day is still one of the weirdest effing things that I've ever seen in my entire life. I honestly just learned that Greg Gumbel died. So that's very sad.
I did too. That is sad.
Wow, what a legend.
He was a legend. One thing I do want to say about Sam Merrill with those quick threes are so annoying to head coaches. They are like, whose guy was Sam Merrill? Why are you ever like 1 foot off of him? Those are quick timeouts, and those are just like the momentum building things that you want from a second unit player, and that's something that Sam Merrill hasn't provided a ton this year. So it's great to see him hitting those shots again. But to my LeVert point, if you traded him for Cam Johnson right now, just straight up, would you do that trade?
Say that to me.
If you did
LeVert for Cam Johnson, straight
up, and that's all the Cavs had to give up, would the Cavs be a better team?
The ball handling stuff there would be really tough.
That's what I'm saying.
But it would also free up to trade George Niang.
For sure.
And like have like Dean Wade and Cam Johnson as like your big forward types for multiple years. It would be like a really good thing to have.
Right. But like
there's a lot of value in that trade that you
right.
could get, but you would need to make like a Niang for like a guard trade concurrently.
And that's kind of what's tough with like the Caris LeVert trade is you need to like you need a better version of Caris LeVert in a way, who's versatile defender, who's a ball handler, who's also on a similar salary number. And then it's like, well, if you had a better version of LeVert on a better salary number, you're not trading him for Caris LeVert.
Correct.
And the Cavs, it's their 2031 draft pick. Who knows what value that has? So that's where it's like, it's really tough to trade Caris LeVert. So yeah. And I think Cam Johnson would be the number one target for the Cavs, by the way. But it's just tough because it's like, does it make this team better this year? And I think that was a lot easier to say when Ty Jerome was cooking like he was for a month and a half.
Man, I think, the Cam thing would make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
it really would.
Well, yeah. Look at that. That's our guy, Dean Wade, just doing Dean Wade things. Great pass from Garland there. Ooh, you like to see that from Jared Allen. It's good stuff. All the way around, good stuff. See that, Cavs on an 11-0 run. Their offense is just so, like, you just have to keep scoring to keep up with them. And frankly, not many teams can do that, considering how good the Cavs defense is. So, just insane. You are so right, Danny. Wade is a good screener, definitely a good rebounder. I don't know about that pass. There you go, Darius.
They're going to pull away from this by the half, it feels like.
Yeah, for sure. The offense is just so good. We'll get to your question, Sauce Man, at the next break.
I am
actively. That's a long question.
I'm actively contemplating it. There's one part about it I feel very strongly about, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
When Sam Merrill's hit 2 more threes and they're up 20. The fact that Jokic almost made that is just effing absurd. Like
that was also like a frustration take from Jokic there. And I think that's where, when you start seeing that, that's where you're starting to break the will of this team. Oh, that seemed like it could have been big. Don't foul him.
Jerome.
Ooh. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was like incredibly silly that they fouled him there.
Yeah, that's tough. That plays like that, Tony said, were one of his favorites. These plays here, and I said these are like my least favorite. When the guy like slams on the break there, the guard slams on the break and gets the and one. I was like, Tony, I don't know why you aesthetically think that's cool. So,
I mean, you also hate.
But that was when he was alive.
Views of shoe. Yeah, you also didn't like Tony's like take on shoes.
There's a lot of Tony takes I don't really co-sign, but I think we make for an entertaining,
Yeah,
it's an entertaining conversation.
I agree. It's good.
We don't see eye to eye on a lot of things.
It's it's different generations.
Oh, you missed it. Somebody was in the chat calling Tony old.
Get the F out of here. He's like in my head he's like 23. I don't actually know how old Tony is, but in my head
he's not
like
23, but
he's 25.
He's something like that. Yeah, Tony is Unk now. Also, Darius Garland's putting this game away while we're chit-chatting.
They're up 16.
They are up 16.
He's not old. That's insane.
I forget what comment. That was bad. I forget what comment made the person call Tony old, but it was insane.
Kids these days call him Tony old.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was floored.
I mean, if he's old, what does that make us? Is like the question.
Ancient. We're
decrepit.
We're like floppy disks. It was a weird cultural reference. Also, it's very disrespectful that Luke Travers is here tonight for the charge. Was
he should just be
mullet night, and he wasn't there.
He should just be playing like every Charger game, honestly. Like, there's not like you don't need him for these games,
That's true. Yeah,
you just get him the reps.
I guess
if he's gonna matter, just get him reps. He needs the reps.
I'm guessing it was like because Okoro and Wade might not have played, but then Tyson's still playing. Yeah, it was a 2K reference. I forget what the 2K reference was, but he mentioned something in 2K, and the guy was like, "You're so old." Yeah, I was like, "Whoa." What was the first 2K you played?
Like 2K 2004.
Okay, the Ben Wallace one.
Yeah, I think
that's a classic.
Because like the first Madden I had was the Mike Vick Madden 04.
First one I had was Madden 2002. I remember they had a cool rap in that about it being Madden 2002.
I had my first football game was like a N64 game that had like Brett Favre on it. That was not Madden.
Yes, I forget what those were called. I had that game too. It's like all-star quarterback something. It was something stupid. It was fun. That was a really bad Jokic pass. They just... Oh, that ball was just barely tipped. That was a good idea. Good job of Karras running the floor there.
Donovan knew that was going in the moment he jumped.
Yeah. I do want to say that you were wrong about your Donovan Mitchell take.
What was my Donovan Mitchell take?
He will not score 40 points tonight.
He's at 22.
He will not score 40 points.
He's going
to play one more quarter.
Jared Allen, that clubbing block and deflection was great.
Also, Tony sent a message in our group chat that is Jared Allen the best? Was Brad onto something when he said Jared Allen is the best center in the NBA? And were you there? Were you there when he said that? Like Brad keeps saying, thank you, Dan. Brad keeps saying that like his point of references is only Cavs games. So
Brad absolutely has no idea.
Did you hear when he said that Darius Garland is the second best point guard in the league? Do you want to guess who the first best point guard in the league is?
Donovan Mitchell.
No, it's better. Who? Think about this for like 2 seconds. Who is the best point guard in the NBA? And you've only seen Cavs games.
Ty Jerome?
The last 10 years. That's all you've seen the last 10 years.
Colin Sexton?
Kyrie Irving.
I thought he was going full off the wall here.
No, he was like, yeah, Kyrie Irving's the best point guard in the league, obviously. And then, Darius Garland's number 2.
I mean, they should not do this. And like, Brad, get your checks. Like, good for you. Like, I won't besmirch a man for earning money. But I would like if we could get Brad on like a YouTube video just to like them show him cards of NBA players, have to see how many he can name from other teams would be incredible content.
That would be.
It's like, do you know who Stephon Castle is, Brad? Brad, do you know who Andrew Nembhard is?
Oh, man, I was really big on Andrew Nembhard for like a minute.
Who he play for with Brad would in fact be incredible.
He would do
like.
Yeah, but
he would do worse than the TNT guys, no question.
Yeah, but like he would do way worse if like he was able to like answer any team like, hey, can you give us any team that like Dennis Schroeder played for? Donovan Mitchell is putting on a show while we're making fun of Brad.
He also might get the 40.
He might get the 40.
He's at 25. Like there's a chance for another bucket before the half.
Tony's doing the grades for this game. They're all going to be like A pluses. I swear, every blowout the Cavs have had, Tony's had the grades for them, and he just gets to give everybody A pluses and also not look like a complete homer for doing it.
Yeah. That's a good gig if you can get it.
See, so the Cavs scored like 40 points in the first quarter, 40 points in the second quarter.
I mean, they might get 43.
Denver Nuggets did not score.
I love the like the switch to get Murray. Oh my goodness. He didn't make it, but then I thought he either was going to get fouled or I was going in. That was crazy. No, he got fouled.
Not happy. That's fine.
Cranky Donovan.
Moral of the story is.
How many? Wait, can I ask you one question real quick before we talk? One last Donovan question. How many Juan Soto questions did he get asked after Juan Soto signed with the Mets? I'm setting the over under at 4.5.
I was in Las Vegas.
Oh damn!
So I don't know. I missed it, but a lot of questions.
It's got to be the over under at 4.5 is probably low.
Because I can't go to. I can't go to like practices, obviously, because I have a day job, which sucks.
Yeah, I've been there.
If anybody in the chat has a day job, I would advise you to quit that day job. But he brought up Call of Duty like 3 times all on his own once, and nobody like kept asking him questions about it, and somebody needed to do that. So shame on the Cleveland local media. He was complaining about being in lobbies that were. Do you play Call of Duty?
It's weird you ask that because I literally before we got on, I got the new Call of Duty. It's the first Call of Duty I've bought in a long time, and I was marveled at how different the controls were with some of the ways you can move.
Yeah, he was complaining about being in lobbies that were too good. I think he's just playing Warzone. Anyways, they need to ask more questions. But Donovan, all he does is kill people in Call of Duty, does the same thing on the basketball court. And it's also overshadowing like a really good game from like Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, Dean Wade. 80 and a half is crazy. Honestly, it's crazy, but like if you told me today, hey, the Cavs will score 80 points in the first half, I'd say, oh, sweet. I'm not actually like super surprised. All right. We said we would get back to this question from the Sauce Man.
Yes.
We have to scroll up a bunch. Trying to find it. A lot of things happened. I said we'd get back to. Okay. Sauce Main Gaming. Do you think Jalen Tyson, Ty Jerome combo could pick up slack in regards to ball handling if we were to trade Karis LeVert? I'll give you my quick answer because your answer is going to be long because I know you. I'm going to say no.
I'm in agreement with you, and I think there's two reasons. Number one, I think we know what Ty Jerome is, and there's a hard ceiling on it. And even if some of the Jalen Tyson flashes have been good, he's a rookie, and like 95% of NBA rookies are actually not good in their first year. If you expose him to bigger minutes, you're going to get a lot of stuff you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
You will not get the production you're getting from Karis right now. Like you could get you're going to get a percentage of it, but is that a guy that like if the playoffs started tomorrow and this was the roster, Karis would be playing in a series against the Boston Celtics. If you said, okay, our plan because we got Cam Johnson or whatever to play guards is to play one of Tyson or Jerome, I don't think either of those guys are making it through that series.
Right.
Karis, like even if there are issues, is gonna make it through that series, especially if we can get enough scoring in there to kind of balance out like any defensive issues you might run into where he's getting attacked and picked on a little bit. The other guys are not making it through a series like that.
I agree. Hold on 1 second.
Are you going to edit right now? If Jackson's going AWOL, fire off some questions. We'll go rapid fire questions with Chris. I'll eat some clock. Let's do it.
No, I was just taking my hoodie off.
Oh man. Damn. I was looking forward to. I was gonna cook.
Listen, Mike, we might have lost Mike. He might have been lost in the public auditorium. I always call it the wrong name. It's the public auditorium.
I could walk
public hall.
Check on him. I don't live far.
Yeah. Go there and check on him. What is the Imani plan? I hope to have more about what the Imani plan is later, but he's not playing in the NBA this year, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
Real quick, Mike aside. I gotta give this Mike aside. I turned on the Charge game for a couple minutes on YouTube. In like the fourth quarter, JT Thor had like a big and one, and they have the media seats right behind the scorer's table, so you can see him on TV. And like JT Thor got a nice and one, and like Mike was like, he did a quick 2 claps, and I said, Mike, did I see you clapping? And he said, hell yeah, you did. So he's, I respect him for, he's taken the fan blogger aspect, to its logical conclusion there. So thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Should we be worried about Strus's shooting? No, honestly, Strus's shooting is overrated. I don't think Strus is like a great shooter, but what makes Strus great is I think that play where Evan Mobley hit him on that little backdoor cut. Those are the things that Strus does better than anybody else on this Cavs team. And that's the value that Strus provides. He's also a underratedly good ball handler and playmaker. He's a solid defender who's a great rebounder for his position, who can kind of slide up for a couple minutes depending on the personnel. He just allows a lot of different options, and he's somebody that teams respect as a shooter because he knows how to move and create his own shots like off ball in a way that no other Cavs players really do that to a super high level besides like Sam Merrill. So,
and like historically his shooting has run very hot and cold.
Yes.
Like he'll have like a run where he shoots incredibly, and he has another run where he shoots really poorly, and it's just like if he has his first 10 games or whatever back are bad, he'll probably his next 10 games will be better.
Yeah.
All right, Jackson. Wait. What babe are you picking to win the race?
I wasn't paying attention to the measurables.
No, I wasn't either.
Really
I'm just going pure vibes. I need to see. Come on. I'm going. Got the one right there in the red.
Oh, what a loser!
I literally turned around.
All right.
I like this other baby. Just like this is actually unhinged. If I'm being entirely honest with you,
I like this one at the bottom. I think got out to a good start here.
Is it crawling for the rabbit?
Toy?
Is that what's going on here?
We were on the Celtics game, me and you, where we were talking about how these dudes are just not into it. We talked about how they were using like child labor, in a way that was unfair. And I think that stuff like this is just pushing it to another level. And really, what does that say about the Kroenke family? That's
here we go.
That we can take offline.
The one that I picked is literally just like sitting now. Like they've just opted out.
Number 2, I think
number 2 should win, but they're absolutely just.
I think they're just drooling on the court. How much do they have to clean up after this?
A lot. That baby, that look of disgust.
4.
Oh, 5. The one I picked. Comeback of the year. She looks.
Oh no, she's really struggling.
But she's out in front.
She's not having a good time.
No, but they might win. Where are they going to? I don't understand this.
No, the other parent's supposed to be on the other side.
Oh,
they had to move the.
Oh, I picked the winner.
See, there's the drool I was looking for.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Never actually crossed the finish line.
That's cheating. That is objectively cheating. I understand you got to hug your baby, but that's.
Do you have to
hug your child? Yeah.
I mean,
it seems like it's good. Everly Beaver.
11 months. There was like a couple 2 months. There were maybe not 2 months. There were a couple that were younger than that. I think she had too much of an advantage. We need to look into that. It might have been like a 3-year-old horse racing with like the 2-year-old horses. I think I'm correct in saying that. We're doing it.
That was the wildest half court. That was the wildest like in-game entertainment.
We gotta hear what the parents are saying here. Oh, that was the quickest interview ever.
I mean, that baby needs a nap, dude. This has got to be late for the baby. Taking a baby to an NBA game, honestly, like that's pretty aggressive.
I mean, they need to know ball early, yeah.
Yeah, but like I'm thinking like sensory overload.
All right, Chris, we need to talk about some things that really matter. Have you played Outlaws yet?
I still haven't. I should have bought it on Black. I should have bought it on Black Friday when it's on sale. Now that it's not on sale, I haven't bought it.
I'm enjoying Skeleton Crew.
I really need to watch Skeleton Crew.
Honestly, go ahead.
No, 2 actors I just adore. Like regardless of what that show actually is, like Jude Law and in particular Carrie Condon are just 2 actors I really, really like. So like that, even though I know that's like it's about the kids, like those 2 adults being in the show is just like a dub for me.
Jude Law, very good in the show. And one of the things is that I know that like me recommending a Star Wars show is like, doesn't really mean anything, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But it is really good. So, I would. It's much better than like I thought it would be. And I honestly, I have no idea we're 5 episodes in. I have no idea where the show's going. And that's something that I've never really been able to say with like a Star Wars show, even like the good ones where it's like, like Andor's good, but you kind of knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
You kind of knew where the Mandalorian was going.
You've seen Rogue One, even like Clone Wars, like how the Clone War ends. You kind of know where you're going. You don't know how it's going to get there, but you know where you're going.
Yeah, in this one, I don't know where we're going, and I don't know how we're going to get there.
Where is it set? What time period is it set?
The Mandalorian timeline. So like with Ahsoka. So did you ever watch The Acolyte? Have you done that, or did you say
no? I know that I would like to still watch it because I like a lot of the actors. I was bummed, I think, even though I hadn't watched it, to see that it isn't getting a second season.
Yes. It is a little bummer because they were like, one of the marketing things was that like this is going to be a complete story, and let me tell you, it is not a complete story. So that just kind of makes it frustrating.
Yeah,
So
that tracks.
all right.
All right, here's a Jetty Osman. Look at him. Wonder how he's doing in back in Europe. So Sauceman gave me another question. In the event that Aaron Gordon becomes available in Denver's pursuit for Zach LaVine, which doesn't seem, I should just note for context, doesn't seem like a lock that that's the way they're going to go. Do you all think he's a viable option with or without LeVert included in the trade? I don't think they're trading Aaron Gordon.
No.
Like that, if they're trading and the salary they're going to use is Michael Porter Jr. and they want to use Zeke Najee's salary. They are not going to use Aaron Gordon like that. Like Aaron Gordon is the third most important player on that team, and I think it's not even close. It's like Jokic, then a big drop, then Murray, then Gordon, and then like everyone else. You could argue like, okay, what do we do to get this team better around Jokic?
I agree. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough trade market. But I think teams are also, I think there's kind of like there's a tough time, teams are having a tough time like adjusting to the new, I don't know, I'm not sure how to like actually describe it, because it's like Bridges just was traded for like a Donovan Mitchell package, which makes no sense. But also, like, I don't think anyone's giving up a first, maybe a first, no one's giving up an unprotected first round pick for like Cam Johnson, I don't think, and a good player. So that's where it's like, I don't know. Like, we're just in like a really weird space, and I'm just not sure what these trades look like. And there's also not a whole lot of guys on the market, which is weird, but also a lot of teams looking for similar players. It's just I think it's going to be like a quiet deadline. I don't know if the Cavs are going to do anything.
I don't think most teams are. Like even like the Kings with firing Mike Brown, like I could see like more teams. Like I would assume like Monty McNair is getting his phone blown up about De'Aaron Fox now, you know?
Right.
And like I don't think they can like really trade him. I think like obviously it doesn't seem like Jimmy Butler's getting traded. Even like the LaVine like Najee LaVine for Najee and MPJ thing is like there's like been reporting from Mark Stein that like
it's kind of weird that this Donovan Mitchell thing is just on loop. This is time 3 we're seeing this.
Kind of random.
Sorry, I completely derailed you.
No, it's okay. It's Zach LaVine's in the image. It's okay. Like the reporting has been that the Bulls don't want anything to do with Zeke Naji.
Yeah.
Which like fair. And it's like, I think any team taking on like some of those dead salaries are going to be harder to move now, I think, in this environment.
Yeah. And it's just weird because it's like the consolidation trades aren't really like as appetizing as they were for contenders in the past. And a lot of these contenders have already given up most of their draft picks in previous trades, or they're in a position where like they can't afford to give up any more draft picks, because it's like the Thunder kind of know that like their goal is to always be a winner, so they want to keep supplementing what they have with rookie salary guys, whereas like teams like the Celtics, Cavs, Knicks, any team in the Western Conference really besides the Thunder don't have the draft picks to like easily move, because they've already moved those draft picks to get in the position that they're in right now. So it's just kind of just a really weird time. And like nobody wants to do like 3 role players for 1 better role player, because that's kind of not really how the league is operating right now. With like, you look at the best teams, they have 11 guys they can roll out, not like 8 guys.
The apron stuff in general, I think, is just like is going to turn the NFL into like it's turning the NBA into like NFL cap stuff. It feels like,
right,
where it's like really hard to make trades in season and really hard to do trades in general, because it just kind of screws your finances up if you make a trade.
Yeah,
which like in some ways I like, but in some ways there's a lot of reasons that's why people like seem to like the NBA, which is like a problem in its own right. But like you're cutting that off.
Yeah.
At the knees.
Yeah, player development and scouting are more important than ever. I agree with you, Danny.
100%. Like you're gonna see fewer first round picks traded. 100%.
Yeah,
Because
and
teams need them. You need to
I
hit on guys like immediately.
and I also think you're going to see more guys like Imani Bates, and I think you're also going to see like Jalen Tyson's played a bunch of minutes with the Charge this year. I think you're going to still keep seeing stuff like that, where you're just trying to like keep, you know what I mean, like keep developing the players you have.
The Cavs are not. I just want to say, Danny put in the Cavs gold. Cavs are not the gold standard. They're not. Like, what do we do? Like, I'm sorry. Like, they're not. Like, Darius Garland was a top 5. Darius Garland was a top 5 pick. Evan Mobley was a 3rd overall pick. Jared Allen was an already developed player you traded for. Donovan Mitchell was a superstar you traded for.
The Jared Allen trade gets a lot of credit. You can't undersell the Jared Allen trade.
I'm talking about player development. Okay.
Don't mention Craig Porter Jr. in that list.
That's not a success. Dean Wade is a success. Sam Merrill was like, I would argue, already a developed guy when you got him, who was undervalued by the rest of the league.
Dean Wade, home run.
Dean Wade is a success. I'm not gonna deny that. I think
they've gotten really playable minutes out of. I think they've gotten playable minutes out of a lot of guys that I think that
Tyson and I think like in like being willing to like be the team to get Dean Wade when he had the knee injuries was just ended up being a smart decision. The test case for this is going to be Jalen Tyson. Mm-hmm. And it's gonna be whoever they draft in the next couple of years. Like that's the cat's taste because they're actually good at this. We don't know if they're good at this yet, but they're not the gold. They're not the gold standard. The gold standard, like people are gonna hate it. It's the Heat. I mean, it is the Heat. Luke, we don't know if Luke Travers is good yet. We do not know if Luke Travers is good yet. We don't.
Okay, what I will say is that I think the Cavs are the gold standard in nobody's done a superstar trade in about the last 5 years that I think has worked out as well as the Cavs trade for Donovan Mitchell.
No,
and I think that's worth something because they already had the core and they traded away. We could complain about Larry Markkinen all we want. Like they should have traded Jared Allen and instead, whatever.
Doesn't matter.
I think the trade that they made, like Mitchell perfectly complements the core of this team in a way that like teams like, the Magic have not been able to make that trade. The Knicks were not able to make that trade or any other trades that I think up their ceiling in that way. The Thunder.
I think the Cat one has done a huge, like the Cat one for the Knicks has been pretty good, I would say.
The Cat trade has been good, but they traded away all their assets for Bridges. So, so I think there's just
the Kyrie debacle is one of the most awkward things of all time.
But also, like you look at like the superstar trades, like for the Suns and for the net superstar trades, like those trades did not work out for their team the way that the Cavs one did, and I think that is an area where like, that's really hard to do, and the Cavs completely nailed that.
Yeah, and I would just say, I think development is really, really hard. Like getting this right, I think number one, it's harder than people think. I talking to people about it. I think that taught me something when I was still covering the NBA, like up close in person. Number two, guys do so much work now with their own coaches that like you don't really have as much control over it as you would think.
Yeah,
like that is a thing that how you manage that. I would be fascinated the inner workings of that. About like, could you talk to some GMs on the side and be like, okay, when Imani Bates goes home for the summer, how do you kind of like try to make sure he is doing the stuff that you're interested in him getting better and not the stuff him and his trainer are going to do or whatever. Certainly like, and like it's easier, like Mobley and like all the guys at Wasserman, all work with like a certain trainer out there. And like, that's probably easier, but then the guys just have their own guys. And that's like a whole thing you're navigating.
I think that kind of comes back to that. You have to have the right head coach. And I think that's what Kenny has been like. I feel like Kenny's almost been like an NIL era college football coach where like he's tried to give everybody as many minutes as possible, no matter what. He's tried to like, his goal with everybody seems to be like, how do I elevate you?
Yeah.
The best you can. So you look like the best version of yourself while also fitting in with the offense. And that's the offense and defense. And that's something that is frankly really hard to do, to like maximize in that way. And I think when you're like trying to do that, I think it's easier to like get on that same page, because it's like these guys with their trainers are trying to be like the best versions of themselves, even if it's not really what you as a team would think the best version of themselves look like. But that's where I think Kenny has done a really good job of that. Whereas like, you know, if Sam Merrill has the ball, we're going to let him dribble it more than once. You know, we're going to let Dean Wade do other stuff off ball. We're going to let Evan Mobley handle the ball, shoot threes. Like, they're just letting people play basketball in a way that like, a lot of teams haven't cracked the code of. I'll just say that. And certainly,
I mean, even like where Kenny came from with Golden State, it's like that's been a real that's a real like ongoing challenge there with the Kuminga situation, right? Like that's like an ongoing thing where like that has never quite been figured out in a perfect way. And I don't even think that's like a Steve Kerr failing. I think it's just like like an economic reality with where Kuminga is at in his career. It's just like a natural thing that comes. But Kenny now, I think in Brooklyn he did it really well, and I think he's seemingly doing really well here. It definitely, I think like, and being an NBA coach, like you need a huge level of people skills to like navigate some of this at a high level. Like I think you really, really do.
Yeah.
And it's not like a one set of people skills, but it's like the best coaches in the league. Like I would say Spo, Kerr, Ty Lue are like three that come to mind, all like really good with people in their own way. Like all really have been connected to their best teams in a very direct way.
Well, the head coach is like a middle manager, because you have to like manage, you know, you're working with the guys on the front line, but you're also answering to the media and press. You're also answering to the GM. You're answering to the, you know, the owner of the team in a way that like no other position does. But also, as opposed to in the past, you're also, every single player is like a corporation now too. So you're managing each corporation. And if you're not managing the corporation right,
look at Evan
great
Mobley
shot there from Evan Mobley. You love to see the confident pull up there. It wasn't a pull up, but you know what I mean. Confident pulling the trigger. But if you're not managing that corporation right, it's like, hey, you know, I want to get out of Miami. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, you know, everybody is, oh no. I think he's okay.
Yeah.
But you know, you're just managing so many egos and so many, like, there's so many third party interests in a way that there wasn't like 15 years ago, that the job is very complicated.
Yeah. And I think even on top of that, like, it seems like it is just like for whatever reason, Jamal Murray, just stop. Truly, one of the things that annoys me most with NBA stuff now, and I think like all athletes now, and we'll see how hurt Mitch ultimately is. We'll react to that, I think, when we see more like actual info. One of the things that annoys me most about like if you could like literally like punch someone in the face and you'd be like, what did I do wrong? It's like when that guy like decapitated Trevor Lawrence a couple weeks ago. He was like, at first didn't seem to think he did anything wrong, but it's like, sir, you almost killed somebody.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get that Murray might be frustrated there because like Mitchell's like foot does come forward and like land there, but he does like walk into him.
He does. You're supposed to.
He literally takes a full.
This isn't the first year this rule's been in place.
No, like that was stupid on his part. That was just like a stupid decision for him to do that.
Yeah.
The other thing about, I think, NBA coaching, Jackson, I think that's really hard, is that you, in terms of like your accountability with the media, you talk to the media a bajillion times more than any executive or team owner ever does, despite the fact that they hold more power in the organization than you.
Right.
I also don't gather that, like, I work in executive communications in my job now. Whether it's an internal thing or like an external thing, the executive that I work with, I am prepping them on how to talk through any scenario or any question they might get, giving them information they need. I don't really think that's how that works in the NBA, where like I don't think the Cavs head of PR is like he is like arranging. They are like arranging, but I don't think like, hey, like here's your cheat sheet on how we think you should talk about this today.
Yeah, don't say Don't say Isaac Okoro can't dribble the basketball.
Yeah, like they're like so a lot of coaches do that themselves where they really censor themselves. But someone like Kenny, from how you and like Danny Cunningham have talked about it, is just a little bit more ad hoc, a little more free in how he talks, a little more human. But it's like there's not like there is, or Mike Brown just like cooking De'Aaron Fox, and might have gotten fired in part because of how that went down, which I think is ridiculous if that's the case. I think Mike Malone was right to be really mad about that.
There's also something where like you can't go to the media, and I didn't catch what the Mike Brown situation was, but you can't go to the old school way of like, I'll just say it in the media so this person actually starts paying attention isn't the way to do it. But
especially now that like there's not as much media like that everyone's consuming, you know what I mean?
Right. So you can't do that. But also like you're just better off if you're just honest with everybody and just kind of like saying what you say to everybody else, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where like,
it's like I can you imagine just like, you know, Kenny gets like 5 minutes after post game to like just consult on his like if I was gonna be a coach, I would almost like want that to keep myself from like give me a 5-minute cooling off period, talk to the guys, and then in the hallway, like I talk like if you're Kenny, you talk to BJ Evans for 5 minutes just to like chill you out.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Like, hey, I know you're really mad about this thing in the fourth quarter, but let's just like not yell about it. I'm gonna keep $50,000 in your pocketbook. Because again, like Kobe doesn't talk. Mike Gansey, like off, like on the record in a way, people often will like
they talk like 3 times a year.
Yeah, and Dan obviously doesn't talk anymore, and like understandably so. Most owners never, unless you're Jerry Jones and have a radio show, you don't really talk to the media. Actually, in the next CBA, the players should be like every owner has to have a radio show.
Yeah, that'd be good.
It'd be incredible content. They would never agree to it. Like we'd be in a lockout for 10 years. Dean. That was really good. He's really good. He's a very good basketball player.
I would say a top 5 role player in the NBA. Danny, you mentioned earlier about Niang and on his podcast. If you know anything about me and Chris, you know that we are not avid consumers of Danny.
I did not know he had a show until the Cavs Instagram account like shared a clip of it the other day, and I didn't watch the clip, but good for George.
So, anyways, Danny, if you wanted to relay what was said, you can, or you don't have to. I am not here to assign anyone homework. All right, the Cavs, the Nuggets are kind of making it a game. But one thing I will point out is the Cavs are still kind of scoring at the same clip they're scoring at. So that's kind of the thing when you have an inevitable offense that just keeps rolling, especially against a bad defense. It's like you just have to do so much to get back into this game.
Yeah.
And like the Cavs right now, I don't want to like overrate how good their offense is. Especially not with somebody as positive as Chris, because I know he gets out over his skis with praising the Cavs very often. But they can get like they have so many different ways they can attack that it doesn't feel like against a bad defense, they're not going to go on like a 4-minute cold streak where like they're just not getting good shots.
Yes.
And it's really tough to come back in a game like that when you don't have a good defense and you can't really keep up with them on offense.
Yes.
But so Danny says he was complimenting Kenny's ability to motivate. Kenny's just a great communicator. And I think one of the things that comes to mind quickly is that game, the first game, the woman underneath the basket just took it right to the face. And that's tough. That hurts. Basketballs hurt when you get hit in the nose with them. But to the point about Kenny, one of the things that comes to mind is that first game against the Celtics, where after me and you were on the stream, Darius Garland was like three for like 28. It was something outrageously bad. Yes. And before the next game, Kenny was talking about how he told Darius Garland, and he was texting with him the night after, told him that he was proud of the way he kept attacking, even though his shot wasn't falling, and how like that's something that he wants to see. But then he also added on like, hey, but instead of doing this, why don't you do more of this instead? So like really like just did a really good job of like highlighting the good things, but also like still teaching. And I think that's like a really tough balance to do where like, anytime you're in a corporate job, they always, this is how you give feedback, the sandwich method and stuff. But it's tough to build those relationships, and you kind of have to build those relationships to have it, really work. And Darius Garland bounced back and continued playing the best basketball of his career.
Yes.
So those are things that like are really tough to do.
Yes.
And that's what he's done exceptionally well. All right, 12-point game midway through the third quarter here.
Which like 12 points doesn't like mean as much as it used to, It's really
doesn't. It doesn't, but when you keep scoring 12 points is a lot.
All right, we got a fight in Phoenix. Going to Reddit to find out what's going on here.
Ooh, a fight in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Should we switch to that?
I'm pulling up the clip on Reddit. That's what we're about to do, because I'm sure it's
You were looking at Reddit and not paying attention.
No, this was in the chat, but I don't think we should turn off this game. Is my point. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to. This is why we're here, Jackson. I'm sure they've already cut away from the fight. Well, we got a slow.
There is no fight. Oh, Mavs and. Oh, but Luka's not playing, right?
Yeah, he's out for a while. We got a Yusuf Nurkic just bowled over somebody.
Well, I was gonna say because like Luka and the Suns kind of have bad blood.
Yeah, and then he dang. Okay, so he Nurkic like swung and like kind of slapped Najee Marshall's head after a shove to like get him away, and then Najee Marshall immediately threw the right hand back at Nurkic and did not hit.
Well,
but he threw. Yeah, I also just like I'm gonna be honest. I understand like guys are tougher than me and like are gonna like it's a human reaction. If someone puts their hands in you, you're gonna react. Also, Kyrie looking at him is gonna be a meme the way he's staring at it. But I would not
great reactions.
Yes, I would also just never like at all get in a physical altercation with the 7-foot Bosnian dude.
That seems like a mistake.
I just like would not like ever get into it. I would argue with the guy, but like if I had to, but if it was getting physical, I'm not touching that. That Darius floater game is good, man. I mean, the thing with the Nuggets that I think they have a real challenge with, I think, in this game is like they need to get this game at a really, really fast pace, I think, to come back and like go up tempo and like really just go. The problem is that like if that happens, it's going to be so open for the Cavs the other way, and that's just like giving Darius Garland free buckets in transition. Yeah, because they don't have like strong point of attack defense on this team.
I mean, it's just the Cavs offense right now is inevitable. They're just going to keep scoring.
It will never not be awesome to me, Jackson, that like they get across half court at 22 seconds now.
That's insane.
It's like last year it was like, all right, 16 to that was a great block. That was a great block.
Danny, that's a good point that you just wrote up about the Atkinson interview. We'll probably try to come back to that later. Will. Just wanted to say that.
Dean Wade relocation. That was also a nice block.
That was a nice block, but you like the what they're doing there. And one of the things that kind of on Danny's point, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but kind of on Danny's point, the Cavs spacing is so good that Wade relocation down to the corner is a good example of that. If you watch the Cavs, especially if you're at a game, because it's kind of easier to do it when you're at a game. The guys in the corners are constantly relocating from wing to corner, depending on where it is. And obviously that's what you're supposed to do. But like the Cavs were not doing that last year. It was very much like, Okoro, you're in the corner unless you want to be in the other corner, So those things just have opened up everything because I've said it consistently going back to last year, talent's not the issue with this team. It's that they don't fit together. Mm-hmm. Now they're fitting together. And a lot of that has come down to just like, hey guys, let's just be in the right spot all the time. You don't see any of those passes very often where it's like, I threw it to the corner and nobody was there, or I threw it to the wing and the guy wasn't there anymore. Like they just know where everybody's at in a way that, you know, makes them really hard to stop.
100%. And like, there is like taking back to the first, the communication point. I don't know if JB was great at communicating with them. I don't have an answer to that one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely think they tuned out on him at the end.
For sure.
That was really nice. What is that? Has Mitchell scored in the third up until that point?
Mitchell has been super hot and like I don't want to say cold because he's never gone cold, but more so like he's really done a good job of like when he has his advantage and he's feeling it to like really put his foot to the floor and like, you know, press his advantage, but then like, you know, willing to like cede the floor to everybody else in other moments. And I think you've kind of seen that here in like the third quarter, where he's not just like coming up and like, all right, I'm just going to take this pull up three because why not? You know, I'm going to say I don't love that shot from Niang.
I don't either. That was fun though.
That was fun.
Niang's little like stare down was some really like private school bully shit right there.
I think that was my best take of ever.
I think about it all the time.
Yeah. And I think that's the only take that I've had that really has landed in that way. If you don't know, I've said that Niang gives off private school bully energy all the time. And I think once you see that, you can't like unsee it. Like, you know, he's a tough guy, but he's only a tough guy because he knows that like, hey, we're in a private school, you know, you're not going to do anything.
Yes.
And, you know, that's kind of the attitude that most people should have. But to Chris's point, you know, the 7-foot guy from a former Soviet state is not the guy you want to try that on. And, you know, Niang doesn't try that on the guys he shouldn't. He very much knows who he should try those things on.
Yes. He should not do it to like Yusuf Nurkic.
Yeah. JB coaches like an elementary school teacher. I think it's a little harsh.
It's a little harsh.
I think what JB does is he's sort of like he maximizes people, but sort of like he finds out what people does best and just kind of like spams it, which isn't necessarily like the worst idea ever because he's been a very successful coach. Like no matter how you look at it, he was successful in Cleveland. He's been extremely successful in Detroit so far. So it's not like he's not a good coach. It's more so that like I don't think he balances everything the same way that Kenny Atkinson does. And I don't think he's as creative as Kenny Atkinson is. And I think a lot of Kenny Atkinson's creativity comes from like the general thought process that like, how do I make Caris LeVert the best version of Caris LeVert?
Yes.
Answers that question and then says, how does the best version of Caris LeVert fit in with the other four guys on the court?
It's very
marries
like,
both of those things.
Yeah, there's like you have to marriage like what you want to do and what you believe really works with like practicality.
Right. And I think what JB did was, what does Caris do well? Or more like, what does the team need Caris to do well? Let's do that in a way that like, you know, what does Donovan do well that the team needs? Isolation scoring and creating your own shot. Donovan, you go do that. What does Dean Wade do? He provides versatility on defense and can space the floor if you put him in the corner. Okay, Dean, go do that. Not in the sense that, like, where can Dean Wade grow? What does the best version of Dean Wade look like? So I think that you're going to get the most out of, like, their current skill sets by doing the things that JB is doing, but you're kind of hard capped on like what that looks like in the long term if you don't expand that.
Yes, I think that's exactly right.
Also, I think when you have Jokic shooting threes, I think that means that you're doing a lot of good stuff right on defense. Because
Yes.
I feel like Jokic shooting threes is like not something he really wants to do, and when he is doing it, it's like kind of like I don't know how else to attack these guys.
Yes.
Not a great possession there for the Cavs, but whatever.
No, but it's like, oh, you're up 14.
Yeah.
And you get a 3 back anyway, so it's like, what does it even matter?
Well, you have Caris LeVert on the court. All right, so we're going to average. Hopefully nobody's doing Cavs versus Nuggets. Because it's Cavs points, right? Or is it Nuggets points?
I think it's Nuggets points. I don't know.
Well, you don't want to do that.
Cavs versus Nuggets like scares me to the point where like I think I would have like I would just be vomiting and like I'm at that point now, Jackson, where if I have like a real like not like
Caris LeVert.
That was good. That was good. You can't trade that guy. You can't.
You can't. I mean, Kenny Atkinson is the Caris LeVert whisperer. I love hearing Kenny talk about Caris LeVert.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah, you can't think about chicken nuggets without wanting to throw up.
If I have like one bad thing in a day, like if I have like a sweet treat, that doesn't impact much. But I have like a truly bad day of eating, I feel like garbage for like 2 days. Like I've hit that point where it's like I can feel it. That was not a good shot.
I hope that I'm, listen, I try to do a nice blueberry smoothie a day. That really helps.
Yeah.
This is a good conversation for the future unks out there.
For Tony, you got to start like putting kale in a smoothie, some chia seeds, that kind of stuff.
That's true.
The
Cavs don't need to make space to keep Caris LeVert because they have his bird rights.
Yep, and I think he'll probably not cost $17 million again.
It's more so the Cavs issue is more so that they don't have Ty Jerome's bird rights. So just saying, like they would have to create space for a player like him. Not necessarily the issue with Ty Jerome, because ideally what you'd want to find is another $2 million version of Ty Jerome.
Yeah,
you're $8 million Ty Jerome.
You're hoping like Tyson's ready for minutes and you get a different flavor there. Probably is like or that like Amani Bates is ready.
Bang.
Oh, Evan Mobley. Bang. Bang.
It's so crazy how like not surprised you are when Evan Mobley makes that shot. Whereas like I remember like last year, whenever Evan Mobley would make a shot, like our little group chat for Fear the Sword writers would be like, Evan Mobley 3, like we can't believe it. And now it's like, oh yeah, like if he didn't make that shot, it would almost be more surprising.
Yes.
Having bird rights means you can kind of just pay them.
Yes.
And like having bird rights to players, that's how teams get into the second apron. So that's basically like you can always keep doing that. What you can't do with like the first, second apron is the issues with like trading people who aren't on your team. There's issues with that. There's issues with signing people outside your team. So those are all issues, but somebody who's currently on your team, you can just keep paying them. Only if you have their bird rights, because not everybody, the Cavs don't have everybody's bird rights. You have to be on the team for 3 years to have bird rights, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Something like that. I'm not a cap expert.
The cap is fucking complicated.
Yeah. But I try to do my part, but
it's just like it was confusing 10 years ago, and I think it's more confusing now because I think the apron and like I think the general rule is like I think teams are not going to go over aprons.
Yeah. One of the things, also the thing with the cap is that like the more you know, the more you. So like this is a problem for people who are writers, i.e., me. Like the more you know, like having a incomplete knowledge of the cap is like 10 times more dangerous than having like no knowledge of the cap and just saying, I don't know, man, they should sign this guy. So, I'm constantly, anytime I quote anything about the cap, I'm constantly like scared that someone in the comments is going to be like, actually. So,
Yeah, but here's the like even then like it's like did you read it's like how many times can you read like CBA FAQ to like make sure you didn't say something dumb, you know?
I try to quote everything. So it's like, hey man, if you got a problem with me, go back to like them.
Yeah, I mean it's even like I would love to know like how NBA teams like how do they dummy it down? So like to the owner, it's like here's like the 10 things you need to know about the salary cap so you can't get mad at us when we don't do a trade you want us to do or something. You know, like who's making what low entry level person has to make the deck explaining the CBA like the cap for like Dan Gilbert, you know?
What's Dan Gilbert's kids' names?
Grant, who was
Making it for Grant.
The weirdest thing at an NBA game that I saw this year, Jackson, was that game. I didn't remember who they were playing, but when Travis Scott was there,
That was
and it was
crazy.
like they didn't show him, but they didn't show him until the fourth quarter, and it's just like him and Grant Gilbert hanging out. I'm like, this is random. This is random. I was like, did he get there in the fourth quarter? Like I'd said so many questions about like why they waited that long to show him. It's like, cause they were it was like a game they were on the path to losing. So it's like, if they lost, were they just not going to show Travis Scott?
Were you there when they showed like a fake Snoop Dogg lookalike on the screen?
Because I would have
You
been.
remember that though?
No, I did honestly.
No, because this was years ago. This was years ago.
Oh, I don't remember this. Honestly, my like rage.
Thank you, Danny, for remembering that.
Yeah, shut up. My rage with like people at NBA game. It's basically like when like Myles Garrett's there, it was always like a big thing. And then
who's that again?
Yeah. And then when they like plant that the guy who rips off the t-shirt and dances, like my rage is just like blinded by that guy being there when he shows up. Like I don't remember anything else but that guy showing up because he sucks. Whatever he's making is too much.
I agree. So sad. I feel like we've hit our bingo card pretty good though today.
Yeah, we should make we shouldn't make one the next time I do one of these with you.
Know, child labor as in-game entertainment. That's something we talk about. The t-shirt guy.
I don't think we've ever talked about in-game child labor before, and I hope we never do again. Have
the
we?
Celtics game? Yeah, the Celtics game because they kept bringing like they had the kid dancers and then they had like kids doing something else.
Yeah,
we talked about that.
Tough.
Yeah, that's on the bingo card. We haven't talked about Isaac Okoro cutting that much. I've tried to bring it up some.
Look, I just will say,
Star Wars.
You were correct. You were correct about the Okoro cutting stuff, 100%.
Thank you. Can you say that again?
You were right, Jackson, about the Isaac Okoro wasn't actually cutting as much as I thought.
I don't know where you got the idea that he was like some kind of cutting maestro.
It wasn't that he was. I don't think I agree that he was a maestro. Now you're twisting my words. It was that like that was like something he could do from the corner when otherwise they asked him just to stand there. That was my whole argument.
It was like something that like
it was like the one thing he actually like moved on offense to do.
He would move, but like move in a way that like when the kid who's like running the bases in baseball as like a little kid like doesn't know when it should go to second, and the coach is like, "Yo, go steal," and then they go. Like it was.
Yeah, it's like the oh
there
boy,
you go.
Cavs. Oh boy, Cavs.
Mobley.
What a player. Lock for an all-star team. Lock.
We need to have a conversation at some point of how
he's
good
a lock.
Evan Mobley is. Yeah, he should be a lock.
Oh, that was a nice lob. That was fun.
I mean, the Cavs should have 9 all-stars because you got to fit Salmon on the team.
Sure. I would say to like give them 3 all-stars and get Max Strus his Miller Lite deal. I really want him to get his Miller Lite deal.
They do definitely deserve 3 all-stars, so
yeah.
Can't really justify Jared Allen.
No, it's not even a conversation.
No.
And just we're in agreement. It's tied. It's late game Luke Travers from that one game, and then Mobley and Mitchell.
Yeah. I think Darius has by far the worst chance.
I agree, and
but maybe not. So like,
are they going to reward a really good team? Would be my thought. Jackson, I'm gonna mute myself for 1 second and go use the restroom. I'll be right back.
You can turn your camera.
We're gonna turn the camera off and mute it.
Or just show us the wall. Wall.
This is pretty boring.
Wall.
You know, actually, here's what I will do.
One. Evan!
Here's also what I will do. When I come back, I got something in the mail today that I know what it is that is going to get framed in my apartment. It's Cavs related that I will unbox when we come back.
An Evan Mobley. All right.
Just think of the best joke thing I could have bought and give me that when we come back, and then I'll show you.
Okay.
No,
all right.
Stew on it. Think about it. Put some effort in.
About it. Evan Mobley. We got the wall. There we go, Dan. This is a new wall. I don't know how we feel about this wall. The same way. It has a lot more character than what is that? An all-star game. An all-star game pennant. I'm not really a big pennant guy. Yeah, see, but Tony's wall is boring. You know, there's nothing going on in Tony's wall. Tony's wall does leave something to the imagination. I think Tony's wall also has it's that like weird color that I think also helps it, where like this wall is a very boring color. Chris's wall is a very neutral color. Yeah. No, you were saying Tony. Oh, not as pure as Tony. No, but you were saying Tony's wall is pure, but pure is boring. So I think you have that backwards, Dan. Also, I'm a huge fan of this rocky climb. We saw this in one of the games that we did playback for. Me and Tony did. This dude just climbs. He's just like parkouring. He thinks he's like playing Assassin's Creed over here, just climbing up. And I don't know what kind of traction those gloves have, but you have to have good traction if you're like getting up there. And he just keeps going. You know, that has to be heavy. So, anyways, yeah, mad impressive. Dan, don't change the topic. Oh, boo, he's back. There goes the wall. We didn't. Rocky distracted us from watching the wall and figuring out everything that was on the wall. So, anyways.
So AirPods are dead. So you don't have to. I'm not worried about audio quality as much. You're not like posting this anywhere.
Well, not anymore.
I don't. If I would freak out honestly and like charge my AirPods like instantly if that was
honestly, you sound fine. But it's good to know that Apple just makes cheap products and it's not a Tony issue.
I also had my AirPods in for like 6 hours straight today.
Just saying.
A lot of. I had like a 3-hour FaceTime with some friends before this.
All right. Okay. So, random Cavs related jersey.
Yep.
All right. Is it a Cavs jersey?
It's a Cavs jersey.
Okay, so it's a Cavs jersey, but it's random.
It's not really random. It's a very specific. You'll see.
Okay, let me guess. Can I guess an Isaac Okoro ransom note jersey?
Kevin Pangos would be an iconic.
Kevin Pangos. That guy was so bad.
Yeah, it was tough.
He played some minutes with the Charge, and I was like, this guy is not good.
Nope.
I'm not sure what the thought process was. I feel like they kept trying to find like unathletic small point guards who were like field generals.
Sure.
And like really the only one that worked was like, you know, Ty Jerome's like the best example of that.
Yeah. All right, what's your final guess? Lock in your real guess.
Okay.
And
I know. Okay, so it has to be one of your guys.
Sure.
I mean, Andre Drummond is one of your guys.
That's not one of my guys. Take that back.
He is one of your guys.
Okay.
I mean, Lamar Stevens is one of your guys.
Yeah, I do like Lamar.
Is one of your guys.
Do you want me to give you an era?
hold on. I was talking about Lamar Stevens. I was talking to somebody about Lamar Stevens.
Okay.
A Cavs member of the Cavs organization.
Okay.
And they were complaining. This was this year. We're complaining about how much JB thought that Lamar Stevens was a good defender. And I thought that was the funniest thing ever.
I mean,
So,
like it's true, but it's true.
he's
Like,
like, I don't know why JB thought he was a good defender.
Look at Max. Max is about to heat up.
There you go. Where are the Max haters now?
Miller Lite, let's go. Hook it up.
So yeah, okay. I'm gonna guess a Jetty jersey.
That's no. You're not even. You missed the bar by a lot. This is
okay. It's not an Isaac Okoro jersey.
No.
All right. Did you get it off of like DH Gate?
I know this is like I bought an autographed jersey off of like a verified seller on eBay situation.
J.R. Smith?
No, that would have been very funny.
All right, show us.
Kevin Love.
Ooh, Kevin Love.
Adidas era, so like not Nike.
You don't want a Nike jersey.
No, and then the most important part. Got the autograph.
Authenticated. Kevin Love. That's a good
autograph.
one.
Yeah. That's getting framed and put on the wall.
You know what? Merry Christmas.
That's what I did with my Christmas bonus, was buy this.
As you should. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sick.
Now I'm regretting not getting like a J.R. Smith like Christmas Day, like 2016 Christmas Day autograph jersey. I don't even know if that's like a thing I could find.
Yeah.
Probably not.
What you can't find. Hold on. I'll wait till the next time out. Because there is some good basketball happening that we keep missing because, I mean, honestly, the Cavs play good basketball for 48 minutes right now. Like, this is just kind of what they do.
There's a nice handwritten note on this package from the seller on eBay. That's nice.
Oh, that's very nice. Maybe they read your nice Fear the Sword article or your SB Nation article. It's still on the site. Like, I still have it pinned.
Literally, like, the only reason I still have my X account is so I can, like, retweet just basketball episodes and keep that thing pinned in case anyone reads it. I thought that was going in for sure. That Murray pull up. Oh, Donovan, stick it, bang!
That would have been so annoying if they called that like off-ball screen on Niang because that probably was a foul.
Yeah, probably would have been. Probably should.
But that should have been a foul.
Really good defense on Murray. That was a foul.
That's so frustrating.
It's like a foul that it's like both like avoidable. It's both like avoidable but like unavoidable.
Yeah.
Like if you just come in like slightly a little too hot, it's like you're screwed. All right, Donovan's at 33. So is he getting a new season high is the question.
All right.
Did you hear anything I said?
No, because I was getting my Cavs merch show and tell.
Oh,
that we're doing now, but I gotta dust off it because it's dusty, which is not good.
Yeah. My point always like Donovan's at 33. Is he getting a new season high?
He has to get to 40.
He has to get to 40.
He got honestly the shout out to the Nuggets for like kind of I wouldn't say they're staying in it, but they're not staying in it.
Yes.
How do you clean the inside of these things? I don't think that was it. All right. I'll just do the show and tell now. You can get these jersey cards from the 2016 Christmas Day game. They're not too expensive. Like I got these for like $35.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's really not bad.
This was years ago, so I don't know what it's like now, but this is from that game. So
I also just like miss Christmas Day jerseys in the worst way.
Yeah.
Like
and I got
especially that Cavs one is just so good.
Got the LeBron one too.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look on eBay. I'm literally gonna look on eBay right now and see what options we got here with that signed one. Nothing signed. You gotta.
Yeah, they're not signed. Not signed.
You might be able to find. No. But I'm saying you can get a tailored Christmas.
I got a Kevin Love signed jersey card here. Chris is not looking.
I am looking.
We got
that's good. Here. That's real good.
So not from Christmas Day, but
No, but that's really good. Shout out autograph stuff's just like on it. It's very fun. All right. So the only Christmas Day. Okay, here here are the three things at the top of the search. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 1, Kyrie Irving autograph from the best Christmas, one of the Christmas days, $450.
Well, that's
that's
tough.
a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah,
Kevin Love autograph, $500. I'll just say I paid $210 for this one. It's like less than half.
That's good. Well, in like the jersey costs money.
You can get a George Niang autograph jersey with free shipping for $90.
For you,
and
you must not be looking at the right thing.
No, there's literally just not a lot of these. And here's the best one. You ready? The most random one that showed up. Luke Jackson signed number 33 Reebok jersey, $65.
Are you looking for jerseys or cards?
Oh, I looked jerseys first. We're going to Cavs Christmas Day cards now.
Yeah, okay. I thought.
No. I wanted to see the jerseys to see like what the Christmas Day thing was, and Luke Jackson thing showed up.
Didn't sell those Christmas Day jerseys for long. You had to like get them from like November to like January of that year. Like you had to be quick.
Those Christmas Day jerseys are so good.
They were. The year before were phenomenal too.
Mm-hmm. With the gold, like they
had like the tan.
Oh yeah.
And then the gold one was like the second year.
Yeah, the tan's my favorite, I think.
Yeah. Derpy, what are you gonna say?
Free fries.
Free fries. There you go. If
can I just say advertising something as like Skynet is like insane. Like I know it's probably what it's called. But Skynet? Like that's not like isn't it like a James Bond like bad
maybe
thing?
from the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah. There's actually Jackson, I'll have to send this to you because I know you're a Bond fan if I'm remembering this correctly.
Huge Bond fan.
Okay. I'm gonna send you this I'll PDF it to you. Or I'll send you a gift link for it, I think, actually. There's a Wall Street Journal article this week that came out about like all the drama about the making of new bonds.
Yeah.
So lot of drama. It's good.
I love Barbara. She's the GOAT.
She had a lot of good points, is what I would say. That was my takeaway from this article.
Listen, I am deep. I am deep in the James Bond scene, and I am very deep in like the Barbara Broccoli's, all that stuff.
Barbara Broccoli for NBA All-Star?
She is the GOAT, like the unquestioned GOAT. They just, they're just a GOAT family. Nobody wanted Sean Connery. Her dad said, you know what? We're getting Sean Connery.
That's right.
Nobody wanted Daniel Craig. Barbara said, respectfully, you can shut up. Yeah. So, she knows what's up. She's, I don't know how you can argue that she's wrong in anything that she said.
That's right.
So I appreciate you for pointing that out. Like, who wants to watch a movie or a TV show about like 003?
That's true.
Karis LeVert's he's getting to the basket, and I wrote about this like a week ago, about how like he's getting to the basket so much better, and Kenny had some great quotes after that Nets game. It's just insane how much of his shots are like threes, getting to the basket, but also like not. He's changed his game, but he's not fundamentally altered what's made him good.
Yes,
and I think that's very tough to do.
Bang.
Dean Wade's so good.
He's very good. $45 threes versus 29 is just like it's like just gotta get the shots up, brother.
Well, that kind of speaks to if you aren't leaving the Nuggets shooters and you're staying connected to them and you're more one-on-one with Jokic, it's hard to like really do that. Like it's hard to generate the shots that they want to generate.
Yeah. Do you like the Levine fit for Denver?
The Nuggets
he's been really good this
tough
year.
Team.
He's been really good this year is all I would say. Like I think I'd think about it in a big way. I'm not a big MPJ guy either. So like if I could do that and not have to pay Zeke Naji to do like nothing, then I'd probably do. Oh, look at Karras. Look at Karras.
Karras is if you want to be shocked, just go look at Karras's advanced numbers.
Yeah. His shot profile chart is like one of the most insane things of all time.
His on-off numbers are mind-boggling. Are they just getting their guys out?
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, Zach LaVine. I don't really love Zach LaVine with the Nuggets, but you just need more talent and more playable guys. One of the things, I'm not sure what a trade would look like, but the tough part with the Nuggets is that you need to like get more playable guys without giving up the playable guys that you have. And that's sort of where like they don't need to consolidate. They need to turn like one big contract into two medium-sized contracts of good players. And like no one's ever going to do that for like, Murray or Porter Jr. or anything like that. So it's tough. I wouldn't say don't make the LaVine trade, but also like I don't know if that's making you a considerably better team.
Yes. I think I would do it because I think the scoring you could get would be great, and I think he would fit really well next to Jokic. I think.
What makes you think that, honestly? Because I
think
don't
he's a good cutter. He's a good quick shooter. Like it is, and it's also like a buff against Murray. Like gives you another ball handler that you're just not relying on Murray. Like I like that part of it. Jokic
tell him B. Gonzalez.
That's true, and they don't necessarily need more scoring, but it's like I also don't know what other trade is like even available to them that I would like more.
Yeah,
respectfully, of course, is a great ad. That's great. But it's like MPJ for two guys. It's just like I don't even know what that is. If they could be the team that got the Heat to give them Jimmy Butler, I'd be like, just do it. Let's just see what this looks like. But I have that obviously doesn't seem like it's happening.
One of the things I don't like about LaVine is that like it's tough to tell. $1 billion. Well, yeah. The thing that I think is tough is that like you don't know what guys who have never not been like the guy on their team are going to look like when they're playing with like an uber superstar like Jokic. And like the best example is like LaVine on national teams, and he's kind of sucked in those situations and really struggled when he isn't like the guy with the ball in a way that like somebody like Devin Booker doesn't. So, you kind of, I feel like that's like a really good test for like, how do these guys look if you put them with another high usage player? And that's where I'm like, I don't know if it's going to work, but it's also like, what can you really take away from a few weeks in the summer?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think Denver's just kind of cooked, and unfortunately they kind of cooked themselves with this whole like Murray extension that like nobody was asking them to make. Like they simply didn't have to extend Murray this offseason, but they did.
Yeah, I feel like they probably felt like they had to some degree, because it's like that's a pillar of your franchise. You want a title. It's one of those things you just do. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's probably to me how that happens.
But it just feels like you can't like easily like reshuffle the deck because of that, because you can't move him.
Yeah, you might not literally can't. You might not have been able to anyway.
Right, but you could even honestly, he would have had value as like an expiring.
Yeah.
I mean, emotionally it made sense, but like if LeBron was signed up to play, like if there was no concern about LeBron ever leaving, like I wouldn't have had a concern of moving anybody from that 2016 team, because you know that LeBron's going to keep being great, and you just kind of need to like keep replenishing the, tools around him. Because, like, Jokic is going to be great. As long as Jokic is playing, he's going to be great.
Yeah, I guess the question is, like, is he just going to, like, go be with the horses in, like, 2 years?
I mean, he could be, but also, like, I think you just kind of play under the assumption that, like, he's going to play until he's 38, and he's probably going to be great until he's 38.
Yeah.
So, like, kind of like the Steph model where it's like, oh, we don't want to waste a year 33 of Steph Curry, but then you end up with, like, the 2022 title. So you can do that with the Nuggets, but it's like you can't really do that anymore with that Murray extension. Like, it's just really tough. And they have really cheap owners, which really hurts the Warriors comparison, because the Warriors were at least, even though they, made some extensions that might not have looked great at the time or aged well, at least they were willing to put the, tax bill, as opposed to the Nuggets, who just have consistently let guys like KCP walk out the door, even like Jeff Green.
Yes.
So.
Yes. It's just hard building a roster, man, when, like, you give everyone maximum money.
And you don't keep the guys around the edge.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why they, I don't know if the Cavs starters need to be in right now. I guess the Nuggets starters are, but 14 points it's a lot.
Yeah.
But you can get 150.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Get Donovan to 40. Because they're doubling him very hard. I will say, I think maybe my favorite adjustment under Atkinson is the fact that I felt like last year, and I could be totally wrong. Like, so if this is wrong, tell me. But I felt like last year there's a lot of Donovan when he get doubled, like, try to solve it himself, and now it's like it's much more comfortable just either giving up the ball or, like, giving it up just to get it back real quick and actually get a proper reset.
Yeah, I feel like he made some progress in the playoffs, but I also felt
in the Boston series more than the Orlando series.
Yeah, but I also felt that, like, when the team's not moving around him, it's just super tough to, like, do that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, their offense was not set up for success in any way last year.
Like, when he would get doubled.
I think we've learned that that's the case.
Yeah.
That Jokic reaction is incredible. That's great.
Yeah. When he would get doubled.
Back, that's so good.
When he would get doubled, everybody would run away from him, as opposed to, like, running to him to, like, get the ball, which is kind of what you need.
Yep.
Like, Darius Garland wisely steps up there for the easy pass.
They put two on the ball and run a corner quick, like, very soft pick and roll, and then he gets a pull-up jumper. It's like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, that's just good process. All right, looks like Denver's punting.
Still, my favorite Thibodeau thing was that game that the Knicks punked the Cavs in last regular season, where Brunson went down in the first, like, 38 seconds, and, like, McCain played the whole rest of the way. He just rode it through the rest of the way.
Yeah.
The next 47 minutes and, like, 38 seconds. It was like, okay, cool. That makes sense. Why would you ever want to extend your rotation if you didn't have to?
Correct.
Well, we still have a minute 30 left, but I think this game is basically over. So, Chris, do you have anything you want to plug while people are actually still watching, as opposed to when everybody's gone?
Just basketball show. I'm going to have a video up in the morning on the Mike Brown firing. If you want just, like, 10-minute thoughts on Mike Brown getting canned by Sacramento. And Wes and I are going to be back on recording Monday to kind of wrap up the year of basketball. Jackson, always fun to do these with you. Just can't wait to do it again.
Thank you. Yeah.
Time. I'm excited. Always, it was a good text. We're just going to be doing nothing of value anyway. Look at Niang. They're going to get to 150. I think we got to stay until they hit 150, Jackson.
I mean, yeah, we're going to stay. Just, these people in the chat might not stay. So that's what that's who we're telling.
Yeah. Just basketball show.
So yeah, guys, check out.
We'll be on these again in the future.
Check out Just Basketball. Yeah. Well, Dan, you're the exception, not the norm. So
real one.
we definitely appreciate you. So yeah, Chris, let me know. When you want to do this again. I'm glad I thought of it because I was just in the lovely Cleveland airport and I got to text that Tony wasn't going to be able to do it.
So
and I said,
I don't know.
You know what? I'll just text Chris.
I don't know. I don't remember where it's been. Because for work I usually end up flying Delta.
Mm-hmm.
Were you on the wing of the airport where there's like randomly like inflatable like holiday decorations?
No, because Frontier, because I always fly Frontier, that's in the A section. So like that's on the far right.
So I think I don't know if it's Spirit or like what's down there past Delta. But
yeah, I never see Delta. That's where the rich people fly.
It's also just like the crappiest part of the airport, though, is the thing. Like there's no chargers.
I think every part of the airport is the crappiest part of the airport.
It's a bad airport.
Honestly,
I just Aura 1. I also wanted 150. 149 is ugly.
I wouldn't say it's ugly. I'd say 149 is. I'd say like
151 would have been great.
I'd say 89 is ugly.
Yeah.
Aura 1. 149. I think 149 is beautiful. I think that 150 is just a little more beautiful.
Yeah,
that's what I'll say.
Cleaner. It's just like a cool thing to say. You scored 150 in a game.
Yeah. Guys in the chat thinks that I want to plug. I don't have anything going on because I'm just going back from vacation, so I haven't written anything.
How was vacation? What's the give me the 1 sentence review?
Chaotic. Just visiting
one
families.
Word. Yeah. Okay. But that's what the holidays are about. It's a little chaos and a little travel.
Yeah. But I will be heading over to Fear the Sword and editing. Mike was at the Charge and South Bay Lakers game. Gonna have an Imani Bates and Bronny James breakdown. Maybe not breakdown, but he's gonna talk about it.
Yes.
So check that out. And then Tony Pesta is gonna have grades, which I would advise to check out, but they're all gonna be A pluses, except for he always gives somebody like a really rude grade. Like
Max Drew's Max Drew's thing is getting a rough grade for this game.
One time he gave like, what was it like? He gave like, it was a game like this and he gave like Darius Garland like a D plus. And I was like, Tony, like what? Like sometimes he'd like overcorrect, like overcorrects way too much. And you're just like, what are you doing, man?
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, that could happen. So head over there for that. So head to fearthesword.com. Thank you everybody for joining. We'll try to have another one of these. We will have another one of these soon. Hopefully Tony will be there. Hopefully Chris will be there. Hopefully, I might be there.
Me, you, and Jackson in the new year. All I want, me, you, and Tony.
Okay, we can do that. We'll do that. Maybe we can even get Mike. Just have everybody on the stream.
Yeah,
Corey.
That'd be good. Everyone. I want just a lead vibe hang. That's really what I'm looking for here.
All right. Well,
me and you is S tier, but that would be pretty good.
Yeah. That don't get me started with S tier because I gave somebody an S grade.
I don't know what I honestly don't know what that means.
Hold on. So this was Ty Jerome. The game he went like nuclear. Mm-hmm. I was doing grades and I said I need a letter above A plus for him, and then Dan said S, and I said okay, like I get the S tier, but I don't actually get it. So like, will people get it? And then Dan said yes, you should do it, and I did it, and like the comments were like, what does S mean? My wife was like, what does S mean?
Yeah, because the old was like commenting on blogs,
Yeah, and I said like respectfully, I have no idea. So I would just avoid that phrase.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's my advice to you.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, you've asked how not online
that's
people
are. Also true.
Yeah. So, you live and you learn. But thank you for joining, everybody. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Cleveland Cavaliers, B. Gonzalez, Danny, Cleveland Cavaliers, the saucy guy who was there earlier. Everybody, we appreciate you. Go Cavs. And yeah,